Fans of Euphoria are currently being treated to the second season of the hit show, which stars Hollywood star Zendaya in the lead role as Ruby Rue Bennett. The first season received positive reviews from critics and fans alike, but the second season has so far garnered attention for being much darker than the first. Today, we are discussing why the second season is so much darker than the first, so don't go anywhere. First up, how did we leave off with Season 1? Let's see. The first season's finale aired on August 4th, 2019, and saw Rue and Jules bury the hatchet and get back together after Rue is seen recovering in hospital after suffering from a kidney infection. Elsewhere, Nate is confronted by Maddie after he is unable to perform sexually, which results in Nate attacking her. She responds by stealing the video of Cal and Jules, which Nate has for some reason. Maddie then watches the video shocked, whilst Cal criticizes Nate for his performance in the game, even after winning. The pair then almost get into it before they are separated, with Nate starting to hit himself. A little later, Rue confronts Nate, claiming she will expose Cal, with Nate responding by giving her grief about Jules' perceived lack of loyalty. Nate and Maddie then decide to go their separate ways after trying to make each other jealous, whilst Jules reveals to Rue that she loves her, as well as Anna. At this point, the pair hatch a plan to run away together, but Rue backs out at the last minute before returning home to get high. Priorities, right? Elsewhere, Cassie tells her family of her plans to terminate her pregnancy, which they fully support. Fez then breaks into the house of Mouse's supplier in a bid to rob him to pay Mouse back. What did you make of Euphoria Season 1? Let us know below. So, what about reports of the new season being darker than the first? Stay tuned. As we know, the first season was all about setting up the characters and their relationships, with most of them going out of their way to prove themselves in the ultra-competitive school environment. It was suggested the show was trying to focus on young people and the adult activities which they took part in to make themselves seem more grown up. A lot of this was done by using one particular shot, the camera towards the character's face, which aimed to create a sort of grandiosity throughout the scene. In the new season, we don't see this sort of shot anywhere near as often as we did in the first. This might be because the second season, so far, appears much more confident in what it is trying to achieve, with its fictional characters having evolved a little more between the last season and the two between-season episodes. Don't worry, they're not integral to the story if you haven't seen them. The show creator, Sam Levinson, goes out of his way to add so much depth to his characters, with a lot of them suffering so much pain, which we learn all about through each one's detailed backstory, which we often see in the form of flashbacks. Some people called the first season superficial, but the second season has so far helped viewers understand what Euphoria is truly about and what it's trying to do and say. What have you made of the second season of Euphoria so far? What else have critics said of the newer, darker season then? Let's see. Well, we can't really talk about Euphoria without mentioning the supreme talent of its lead actor Zendaya. She comes to the fore as Rue and explores just how low someone can become when embroiled in addiction and all the woes it brings. This season really gets to grips with addiction and uses it to explain how a person can be completely broken by substance abuse, and Zendaya encapsulates it perfectly. She creates her own take on what the throes of addiction can do to a person and uses her relationship with Jules as the catalyst to really propel the character forward. The pair are trying to reconcile after we see Jules head off on the train at the end of Season 1. Jules has no idea that Rue has relapsed, and Zendaya's performance, sneaking around and trying to hide her problem, is one that people who have been affected by loved ones who suffer with addiction will recognize all too well. Season 2 also sees the supporting characters evolve much more than they did in the first. Lexi, Cal, and Cassie are all some of the lesser characters who come to the fore in Season 2, and their arcs show they are in the midst of evolving into who they are supposed to be. In some great writing and directing, we get to see these characters take center stage and learn how these guys have been affected by goings-on in their own pasts. Is that all? Stay tuned to find out. Hardly. Season 2 not only does an excellent job of going into the characters' backstories, the first episode with Fez and his grandma especially, but also gives off a darkly funny vibe, which can often come at moments when you might least expect it. Whilst Rue is obviously in danger throughout a large part of the season, we see a few funny moments to keep fans invested after the funnier moments from season 1. The first episode does fantastically well at reintroducing the characters and all their crazy relationships, like sisters Cassie and Lexi, who are socially opposite, and then also Nate and Maddie's relationship as well with Fez. The show's crew does a very good job at portraying the characters and their problems in a more natural way, but we still don't get to see them juggled properly. We don't really hear anything about all of season 1's illegal activity and how it was just forgotten about. Some people claimed that Euphoria used shock value to get its point across in the first season, but they no longer have that to use, which happens to be a positive. We get to see the characters develop in a much simpler way, but at the same time, there are only so many ways in which you can tell the same story of drugs, sex, and violence, right? What have you guys thought of season 2 so far? Let us know below. We're hearing from Maud Apatow next. Stay with us. Apatow, who plays Lexi in the hit high school show, has been speaking recently regarding her character's seemingly high-budget theater show. Fans online had questioned where she got the money from for what was an over-the-top production for a school play. And Apatow was on hand to tell us how the highest-budget student show ever performed came about. The usually timid Lexi shouts, "This is it, people, it's effing showtime," which is massively out of character for her. Lexi, who is a supporting character largely for her on-screen sister during season 1, has been writing the play throughout the season, and some fans have suggested that the money spent on the play would be much more than any normal high school theater department's budget, leading for some to suspect that Fezco clearly gave Lexi the funds for her play. School budget ain't that damn big. Apatow herself revealed that the storyline comes from her own experiences in high school. When asked about the idea that the play would be Lexi's season 2 arc, Apatow said, "I'm trying to think. So Sam is great on the phone, and I wanted to call him when he was writing, just so we could brainstorm together different ideas of how the character could evolve. I thought it totally made sense for Lexi to be a theater kid. I was in real life, and the play is loosely inspired by my senior year of high school. We had a student-produced, directed, and written show, and I was the producer, and I was like a tyrant. Yeah, so it's loosely based on a true event." Wow. And finally, we're hearing from Minka Kelly and one particular scene. Kelly, who's shot to fame as Lila Garrity on Friday Night Lights, has recently been talking about her appearance in season 2 of Euphoria. On the show, she appears as the wealthy mom of a little boy who Maddie babysits for. Her character, Samantha, returns home one night and asks Maddie to help her out of a dress. Show creator Levinson had planned on the dress just falling to the floor, which would have shown Kelly completely naked on her first ever episode. And Kelly revealed she wasn't particularly happy about the scene. She said, "Levinson thought it would be more interesting if my dress fell to the ground. That was my first day as a guest on this new show, and I just didn't feel comfortable standing there naked." She says Levinson instantly agreed without hesitation, which she said was great. The way it turned out provided the show creator with exactly what he wanted anyway, so all's well that ends well. What do you make of Kelly's role in Euphoria so far? Let us know below. As always, thanks for tuning in today, and remember to stop by next time for some more fun and games. Also, why not share our video today? And don't forget to like and subscribe below. Bye, guys!